So today I'm just gonna discuss how to select the appropriate gemstones. The reason for making this video is that there is a lot of nonsense going on everywhere, and people are recommending very bad gemstones to people, which is causing a lot of harm instead of good. So each planet is associated with a specific gemstone, and how do you select which planet to wear and which planet not to wear? Is very simple. If you know basic astrology, you will be able to select a good gemstone for you. So to begin with, first and foremost, you need to know that you need to have a basic understanding of the signs and the lot of the signs. I'm just keeping a blank chart here for your understanding. Here, the ascendant is the Virgo Lagna. So normally the gemstone which we wear, you should go for 1, 5, and 9. The Trine houses lot are always beneficial in general. And you can consider the gemstones of any of the 1, 5, 9 with other metrics that I will discuss further. Moving on, you should always not wear or never consider the gemstone of second and seventh house. The reason being that they are the marak houses for you. So if you do wear the gemstone and you are running the bad dasha of the planet period, it can cause you harm. I have seen many astrologers suggest they're wearing the seventh lord gemstone for the relationship and all, but you should never ever consider wearing it because if you do, it will cause you a lot of harm instead of good. Yes, it can help you get the relationship, but more so it will give you accidents. And if there is any planet sitting in your seventh house, it will increase the health issue that you will have through that planet. So, for example, in this chart, because you have to go by the lordship first. So, because here the Lagna is the Virgo and the Lord will be Mercury. The Lagna Lord is the Mercury and also the 10th Lord. So, one of the gemstones that this person can wear based on the blank chart, that would be the Mercury, because it is the Lord of both of the good houses, 1 and 10. Moving forward, the second gemstone that you can consider would have been the Neelam, because Saturn is a fifth house lord, but you have to see that it is also the sixth house lord here. So now, because Saturn is also in charge of your sixth house, which relates to your rogue green, Shatru, and the diseases and all that, you should not consider, excuse me, you should not consider wearing the gemstone. Because while it can help you with your education matters and children's and all, it will cause you harm in relation to your sixth house. So in general, for the Virgo Lagna people, the Neelam is out of question. You should not wear it unless like Saturn is making a very big Rajyog or Saturn is exalted in a very good position and all. But in general, you should not consider it. Lastly, the gemstone for you would be the related to Venus because Venus is the ninth lord. Here, the thing is that Venus is also the second house lord, which makes it a marak for you. But because Venus is also the ninth house lord for you, it overrides the marak logic in this particular chart and the ascendant. Hence, you can wear the Venus gemstone, which is the opal and the diamonds. Any question in this particular thing?
No.
Okay. So let's say I'm changing the ascendant. I'm putting it Libra, which is your ascendant, I think. You're Libra? Oh no, you're Capricorn, right?
Mine's Capricorn, yes.
Yeah, let's see Capricorn just from here. So here,
Hmm.
the first and foremost that you should can consider is the Neelam, which is for the Saturn. But because Saturn is also the second house lord, it can cause you health issue. Specifically, the Saturn is placed in a bad position. So here, the Neelam is out of question. You should not wear the Neelam because while it is your Lagna lord, it is also the Marak for you. So Neelam is out of question for you. Moving on, what else can you wear? Here, if you see the Venus is the fifth house lord and the 10th house lord, which makes it a yoke karak for the Capricorn ascendant. So opal is like the best choice for you. You can definitely wear an opal without any issue. Lastly, if you see the third one is the Mercury, which is the sixth lord and the ninth lord. Now, depending on the Mercury in your chart, how it is, if it's placed in a good position and not, you can consider the Mercury. But if you are having a lot of health issue, then you should not consider Mercury because Mercury is also your sixth house lord. In that case, even if it is a ninth house lord, you should avoid it. Any question?
No questions, no.
Okay. So for Capricorn ascendant, another gemstone that they can consider is the Munga or the red coral, specifically because Mars will be your fourth lord in the 11th house lord. And overall, it is a beneficial position for the Capricorn ascendants. So you can wear both the Mars and the opal together without any issue. But because Mars and Mercury, they are enemies of each other, you cannot wear the Mars and Mercury together. So either you go the Mars and opal or you go the Mercury and opal, depending if your Mercury is good or bad. Again, if your Mars is bad, then don't wear the munga, but in general. Similarly, if I'm
No
going
problem.
one by one all the ascendants, what do you think would be the gemstone for this ascendant if you have to guess now based on this?
The best one so far, I suppose, would be for Ruby for Surya because he's a fifth house lord.
Okay,
And secondly, I believe it's also because um, moon, so Moti or Pearl or Pearlstone because it's also a Kendra house. That would be.
okay,
And Shani is Neelam because it's a lord of 10th house and 11th house as well.
okay.
Um, and I believe that's so because you cannot suggest Mars like Munga for Mars because it's lord of first house and eighth house. And we can't suggest Venus is Opal as well because it's Lord of second house and seventh house, so both marakas. And even if we
Mercury is
were
also
to,
out of question.
yes, and same with Guru's. I'm not sure gemstone for Guru is, but you can't do that because it's 12th house Lord until and unless it isn't very beneficial for the chart. It's not possible for them to wear a gemstone for Guru as well. I would say.
Okay. So moving on, first and foremost that you have to consider is the trines always. After that, if the trines are not beneficial, you can look into the Kendra houses. But first and foremost, always check the trines. So here Jupiter is in the ninth house lord and the 12th house lord. Generally, we do not recommend 8, 6, 8, 12. But if the Jupiter is placed in a Kendra house or is exalted or in one of the trines, then yes, you can consider the Jupiter. Given that they don't have a diabetes or something, then yes, you can wear a Jupiter stone here. Okay. Other thing
No
regarding the
problem.
Mars. So whenever you have an ascendant where it is one house is the trine and one house is the one of the bad houses. For example, in the Aries ascendant, it is the 1 and 8. Similarly, if you go to Taurus ascendant, it will be 2 and 6. In this cases, what you have to do is you have to check the position of your Venus. If the Venus is associated with the benefics, then you can wear the opal. And similarly, if the Mars here is associated with the benefics, you can wear the munga. For example, let me open the view here, standard view. Let's assume this is the ascendant here. So here the Mars, is it in a good placement or no?
I don't think so because it's sitting with Shani, which
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
very strong enemy of its. Yeah.
Yep. So it is an absolute bad placement here. All right. So it is with the Saturn and Sun in the 12th house. So this is not a good placement for the Munga. All right. So you should
Yeah.
not wear it. There is another technique where you can use, let's say, if you have a planet which is a lot of two different houses and it is placed in whatever sign, check if the sign is odd or even. So here it is placed in an even sign. If the planet is placed in the even sign, then it will work more for the odd sign. So here the Mars is working more for the ascendant compared to the eighth house. But
Okay.
still, because it is in the 12th house, which is not a good house, and it is in with the Saturn, which is again not a good planet for Mars, you should not wear a munga. It will cause you health issue. It will cause you damage. All
No
right.
problem. No
Even
problem.
though it is giving more prabhav, you can say in the first house, but still. Similarly, if we look at the fifth house, similarly, the fifth lord is going in the 12th house in the Karak. So again, sun is out of question. You cannot wear sun here because fifth lord is going into the bad houses. So if you go
Yes,
again, it will cause you certain issue. Lastly, check the Jupiter. Where is the Jupiter place?
I
Jupiter
have
is the
third house.
third house, seventh from itself. But here
Yeah.
you can consider Jupiter, even though it is not in the Kendra, but yes, you can consider it. It would be helpful for this person because of it being the ninth lord and looking at his own sign. Jupiter here is not in a good sign. Gemini is not good for Jupiter because Jupiter and Mercury are enemies. So here you can consider giving power to your Jupiter. But all of the other is out of question. Another thing they can consider is the moon because moon is in the Kendra and sitting in the 10th house. So, and it's looking at its own sign here. So Jupiter and moon both are recommended for this person.
No
Okay.
problem.
Venus is absolutely not recommended because it is a second and seventh lord. If this person wears a Venus, it will become a mark for him and he will have issue. Similarly, Mercury is not recommended for this person because Mercury is the sixth lord. If he wears the Mercury, he will have issue.
No
All
problem.
right, let's check a new chart starting from the Gemini now. So what would be the recommendation for this person? Let's take the blank chart first, and then we'll put the other planets. One moment.
No problem.
Okay, go on. What planet can they wear?
So starting off, so first of all would be Mercury's Emerald. That would be because it's a lot of first house and fourth house. The next
Yes.
one we can surely suggest is Venus, but like you said, if the placement is if Venus is aspected by benefics or is sitting in a very strong position, it is viable as a good gemstone. The next one I believe would be Jupiter's gemstone because it is a lot of the Kendras. Now the reason why I didn't say Saturn is because in this specific Lagna, Saturn is the lord of eighth house and ninth house together. So obviously, like you said, eighth house, it wouldn't be considered good now until and unless Saturn's placement is really well. I personally wouldn't suggest Saturn as a gemstone for someone else to wear.
Okay. So here, Mercury they can wear without any issue. Venus gemstone, you have to see if the Venus is in a good position, then yes, you can consider Venus, even if it is a 12th lord, but because it is also the fifth lord, you can consider the Venus. Jupiter is out of question because it is a marak. Moon is out of question because it is a marak. Sun is out of question, third lord. Only thing remaining is the Saturn, but again, Saturn is eighth and ninth lord, and generally for people, Saturn is not that favorable. So you have to check in your chart if the Saturn is in a good position. If the Saturn is benefic for you, then only wear it. As no, you should not wear it. So only
No problem.
gemstones here are the best is obviously the Mercury without any question, and other one would be the opal. But given
Venus.
that the Venus is in a good position, let's see here. If you see the planets here, in this case, Mercury they can wear without any issue. Second thing that can consider is the Venus they can wear because Venus is the 11th house. So also the gains and also the fifth and the 12th lord. So yes, they can wear the Venus. Lastly, if you check is Saturn, Saturn overall, if you don't understand whether the Saturn is good here or bad here, what you can do is you can go to the strength here and check the Istfal and the Kastfal of the Saturn. Istfal means how much the benefic ability does the planet have to give you. Kastfal means how much the damage can planet give you. So here the benefic is very less compared to the Kastfal. So Saturn is extremely out of question for this person. Right?
No
This is
problem.
Lagna again. So if he wears the Saturn, he will have health issue. He will have very bad health issue. All right. So should never wear this Saturn. Only thing he can wear is the Mercury gemstone. Another thing is that even if the Lagna Lord Kastfal is high, if the Lagna Lord is placed in a good position, you should go for the gemstone regardless of this. Okay.
No problem.
Okay, and lastly, the Venus again, benefic is highly benefic, its well is very high, you can go for it. Similarly, if you're moving from the next one is the Cancer. So here, what ones can you consider? Here, the first you consider the Moon, because Moon is the Lagna lord, you can go for it. Second is the Mars. Here, the Mars is the Yoga Karak planet for you, and sitting in the ninth house, extremely good position. You can wear the Mars without any issue. Lastly, the Jupiter. The Jupiter is the sixth lord and the ninth lord sitting in the 12th house. So now you have to consider if the Jupiter is benefic for you or not benefic for you. If you are having health issue, because sixth lord in the 12th house creates a Vipreet yoga. So if you are having health issue, you should not wear the Jupiter. If you are not having any health issue, if you want to go foreign, if your health is very stable, then you can take the Jupiter. But without that, don't consider it. Similarly, if you are going for the Leo ascendant, what would be the answers here? What can they wear?
Um, Again, Jupiter again because even though being late house lord, if because it is sitting it is sitting in the 11th house and aspecting its own house, I think it would be a really good. It can be suggested as a
So
as a
here,
good gemstone.
yeah, so here you have to think a little bit. Where is the Lagna Lord going?
Lagna Lord happens to go into the eighth house here.
So 8th house, when the Lagna Lord goes in the 8th house, what happens? The person might get chronic illness, right? Lifelong
Yes, that's
diseases,
correct.
right?
That's correct. Yeah,
Okay. Is the Lagna Lord placed with good planets or bad planets?
definitely bad planets.
Bad planet. So in that case,
Yes,
we should not give the Lord of that house more power, or it will cause
I
you more
see.
issue. Okay.
I
So
see.
that's why we
Okay.
don't consider Jupiter here.
Okay.
Okay, if the Lagna was not by itself, and then the Jupiter was in this position, and the Istfal was very high compared to the Kastfal, then only you can consider Jupiter. But right now, Jupiter is out of question. So, what other planets can we consider here?
Sun itself, because given that it's sitting in the eighth house, wearing a gemstone for sun could help the protect the person's health and all.
No, sun
Possibly
we
the
can,
sun.
because sun is in the end, sun is still your Lagna lord, right? So
Yes.
you can
Yeah.
strengthen your Lagna. It won't cause you any issue, even if it's going in eighth house. All right, strengthening
Okay.
it
Okay.
will actually help your body rather than causing an
Yep.
issue.
Yep. And the
Okay.
next one would be Mars because it is the lord of fourth house and the ninth house.
Okay. So Mars you can consider, all right, but Mars will be on a more of a testing basis, even though it is a Yoga planet. But you have to
Yep.
check because again it is in the eighth house.
Okay.
Right? In
No
general,
problem.
you have to remember that you want to give the planets which are good for you more power, and you want to weaken the planets that are bad for you. So here the
No
good
problem.
planets are the Jupiter, Sun, and Mars, and remaining are the bad planets per se. So here, as long as we give power to Jupiter, Sun, Mars, it is good, but Jupiter we cannot give for obvious reasons. Mars and Sun we can consider, but Sun definitely we can consider.
No problem.
Okay. Moving on, now we are looking at the Virgo. I think I have already covered that earlier. So let's do the
Yes.
Libra. So what would be the Libra?
For Libra over here, we could start off with Lagnesh, the Lagnesh here, which is Venus. The next one we
So
could
is
also
Lagna
possibly
is associated with bad planets or good planets, or it is by itself?
it is by itself and it's aspecting its own house as well. So
Okay, so
I
in
would
that
say
case, you can go. Here the Venus is
yep,
benefit for you.
yes.
Okay,
The next one we
you can also check the Istfal. Istfal is
yep,
extremely high for Venus. So yes, by
yes,
both metrics, Venus is good for you. You can consider it, given that you don't have diabetes. Because
no
Venus is
problem,
in the seventh house, it is also the Marak house. So there can be certain issue related to Venus. But if there are no issue, then yeah, definitely go for that.
no problem.
Okay, next.
I wouldn't suggest Mercury here in this case because Mercury first of all is sitting with Rahu. And because it is also a 12th house lord and it has been afflicted by afflicted by Rahu, we definitely can't go with Mercury. So ninth lord can not be considered in this case. But the next one we can definitely consider is Shani's Neelam, which is because Shani is the lord of fourth house and fifth house here. But also because it is sitting within the sixth house, and because it has Lok, Ishtfal, and Kastfal, like you said. I don't think it's not a viable gemstone, like you said.
Yep,
I'm not
yep.
really sure though. Yeah,
Okay. So they should never consider the Neelam because it is in the sixth house, which is the bad planets. If they wear a Neelam, their spine will break, their leg will break. Even by mistake, they put on the Neelam, extremely bad for them. Okay. Only gemstone they can wear is the opal or the diamond, which is for the Venus. Nothing else in this chart. Okay.
no problem.
You while
What
you can
about moon in
consider
this case?
moon, yeah,
Yeah,
moon
yeah.
they can consider, moon they can consider if they are having issue with their career and all. But other than that, first and foremost would be the opal only.
No problem.
Moving on, here, same thing. Mars is the Lagna lord of first house and sixth house. It is sitting in the fifth house with the bad planets. So here you check whether I can give the power to the Lagna lord or no.
Um,
So
well, there's a Graha Yuddha going on in fifth house with Shani being a heavy planet and Surya being a heavy planet. So and because Mars doesn't have a lot of points within the Ishtfal, even though it has strength, I would suggest not giving Mars enough strength.
yes, so in this
Is
case,
that
if the
correct? Yeah, yeah.
person is having health issue, you should avoid the Mars because Mars being the sixth house lord as well. But if the person is not having health issue and they are in like let's say a litigation field or some field where they have a lot of enemies, in that case only they should consider Mars. But other than that, they should not wear it. Next one is the Moti. They can consider the pearl because it is a ninth house lord. And obviously, you have to check the Istral and Kashmal. Here it is almost okay, 2335, not that bad. So they can consider it. And lastly, they can consider the sun. It is good for them.
No
Okay,
problem.
Ruby would be good because it is their 10th house lord. So yes, they can consider the Ruby. Here they should not consider the Jupiter. They should not consider the Venus because it being the Marak.
No problem.
Okay. Ninth number. So here, obviously, the first and foremost, they can wear Jupiter because it is a lot of the two Kendra. Second, they can consider the Mars similarly. Here, the Mars is sitting in the Kendra. So overall, Mars is very good here. It is the fifth lord and the 12th lord, but 12th lord sitting in the Kendra, fourth house, very good position. They can consider the Munga here. They should absolutely not wear Mercury because it is Marak, or Venus because it is the sixth house lord and the 11th house lord. They can consider wearing the sun. So both ruby, munga, and the sapphire, all of the three they can wear for this position and the ascendant. Any question?
No, no problem. No questions so
Okay.
far.
I think we have covered the Capricorn. So
Yes.
Aquarius, if I'm looking, so Aquarius very similar. You cannot wear the Saturn unless Saturn is making some Raj Yoga or something, because Saturn is also your 11th house lord. So unless you want to go foreign or your Saturn is very well placed, and in that case only you can consider Neelam. But other than that, not a good idea. If you're looking at this chart, for example, the east fall is extremely high, so I would not consider wearing that. Second thing they can consider is the Mercury. So here the Mercury is in the Lagna, which is a good position, and Mercury is the 8th house lord and the 5th house lord. Again, 8th house is empty here, 5th house Jupiter is there. So yes, you can consider here. Only thing which is bad here is the cusp of Mercury is extremely high. So there can be certain pain that you might have to go through. But overall, you can wear the Mercury. But if you feel that you are having overthinking, anxiety, and all of those issues, or any chronic health issue, then avoid the Mercury because it is your 8th house lord and the cusp is extremely high. Lastly, the best one for this person would be the Venus because it is a Yoga planet, 9th house lord and 4th house lord, sitting in the third house, looking at the 9th house. So yes, and the cusp 12 is 12 metric is very good for them. They can consider the Venus without any issue.
No problem.
Lastly, Pisces. Pisces, any Pisces people, they can wear Jupiter, eyes closed, don't have to think too much. Jupiter is very benefic for Pisces people and the lot of your Lagna Lord, also the 10th house Lord. Second thing they can consider the moon. Moon is in the 11th house, looking at his own house. Ishwar Kashpa is overall very good. So yes, you can consider moon. Lastly, the Munga, same logic. The 9th house overrides the second house Marak. So yes, you can wear the Munga as long as if the Mars is not in a very bad position and not a Marak, or in a, let's say, with the very bad planets and all. So here the Mars is favorable, fairly favorable for this person. So yes, he can wear the Munga. So this is
No
from
problem.
all of the 1 to 12 lords. Now, if I have to check, for example, let's say that if I'm checking your Kundli, for example, give me one second. Here, your Kundli, you cannot wear Saturn because it is your second house lord. It will be
Yeah.
Marak for you. You can wear the Venus because again it is a Yog Karak plus sitting in the Lagna, extremely good, and your Ishwar Kaspal is very good. You can wear the Venus stone, very good for you.
Yeah.
Second thing you can consider is the Mercury, but because you have a lot of health issue and Mercury is sitting in the second house, which is the Marak house, so you should avoid the Mercury. Moreover, your Mercury is extremely bad here. So
Yeah.
that leaves that with the only thing, which is the uh, red coral, because it is your fourth house lord and the 11th house lord.
11th
And
house
Mars is
Lord. Yeah.
fairly good for you, and you are living in a foreign country. So overall Mars is very good for you. Now,
Yeah.
for people who are having confusion whether I should choose the like certain placement, for example, for the Gemini Lagna, now here the Venus is 12th house lord, but also the 5th house lord. And you are not able to understand whether it's a good position for me or not, then what you have to do is you have to check from both the Kundli, the Lagna Kundli and the Chandra Kundli always. For example, if I'm checking his chart as the Capricorn ascendant, what is his Lagna? It is the Sunny, which is the 28 degrees. So it is almost in the Mrit Avastha because it is on the cusp here, 28 degree, 29 degree, almost dead. So here compared to your Sunny, your Moon Kundli is more powerful, I would say, because Moon is lesser in degrees compared to your Shani. So what I
I
do is
see.
I check from here first, but I also check by keeping the Moon as the ascendant. So by keeping the moon as the ascendant, now you are a Pisces. What is the your Mars lordship now?
Mars Lordship has second house as well as ninth house.
And is it sitting in a Kendra from you?
Yes, it is because it's sitting in fourth
So
house.
yes, so now if you were a
Eight,
Pisces
10th
and
house,
you
sorry.
had this
Yeah.
placement, can you wear the Mars gemstone?
I can definitely wear it because, well,
It is in the
it's
Kendra
sitting in a
from your
benefic
moon.
position. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So always make sure that you check from both the Lagna Kundli and the Chandra Kundli. Okay. Not just one thing.
Okay.
Check both. Like if you
Okay.
check the Venus from here, Venus is sitting in the 11th house, okay, and the third house and the 8th house lord. All right, not the best position, but if you check from the Lagna Kundli, it is the Yog Karak for you and sitting in the Lagna. So from
Yeah.
this, you can consider, okay, Venus, we never had any doubt, but Munga, because it is the 4th house and 11th house lord, you have to check from moon whether if it's good from moon or not. Okay.
No problem.
Similarly, if I am putting someone's health chart, for example, here. So in this chart, let's see, he is a Libra ascendant. So can he wear Venus or no?
He cannot because oh sorry, just 1 second. He can definitely wet Venus here because, but at the same time, it's sitting in a Marak Sun, and because if he were to give Venus power, because we have so many conjunctions within the eighth house, it's going to give a lot of power to those planets as well.
Yeah.
So I would suggest, well,
So
okay,
Venus would not be the best for him, and more so if you check his strength, Venus is already powerful. Just
yeah,
if the planet is powerful, you don't always have to wear the gemstone for that.
okay,
Similarly, Saturn is also out of question for him, although it is Yog-Karak, but again, it is in the eighth house, and if you see the Kastfal is extremely high for this person. If he wears a Saturn, he will break a spine or two, and he will have health issue. Lastly, the
no problem.
Mercury, he can consider wearing the Mercury. It is very good for him here because Mercury is sitting in the ninth house. It is a ninth lord, and the Kastfal and Istfal metric is also very good. Moreover, his ninth house planet does not have enough power. If you see, the Mercury does not have enough strength here. So he
Yeah,
can consider wearing that. Okay.
no problem.
Lastly, let's say that you are having certain questions now, whether you understand the basic logic, how do you check based on lordship and
Yes,
all.
yes,
Now
yeah,
going into a little bit advanced metric, here you will have to understand the Gemini Karakas. Now, if you don't know Gemini
okay,
Karakas, go and study. I'm not going to teach them. But in general, if your Lagna Lord, or let's say whatever you choose from the trials, if it is your Amatyakaraka, then it is a very good
mhm,
planet for you, given that it is, again, first and foremost, you check from here. For example, we saw that earlier, what we saw, I need a different chart. For example, let's see your chart, I think. Your Amatyakaraka, I need a different one. What says Amatyakaraka? Jupiter. Yep, let's see. So here, check. Can you wear Jupiter or no? In general,
he
first.
can first of all, because it is okay, there's a Vipreet Raj Yoga happening here because eighth lord is going into 12th house.
And
So
also
even though
exact Jupiter.
technically, yeah,
He can
exactly. So
wear.
it
He
is
can wear.
definitely a good, yeah, yeah.
Okay, he can wear without any issue. But other thing now you have to check. Jupiter is also Amatya Karak, your divine minister who is there to help you. Extremely good for him. So yes, you can wear eyes closed. He can wear. Okay, Jupiter.
Okay.
Similarly, as you know, Gati Karak, the worst possible Karak that we have, which is the Gati Karak, the planet
Yeah.
responsible for your suffering in this life. So now, if you see Mars is the Yog Karak for him, but Mars is in the seventh house. So now you will have to, normally you will have to think whether I wear it or not. Will it give me health issue or not? Now you see Mars is the Gati Karak. It is in the Satabhisha Nakshatra. So if you wear the Mars, you will have an abdomen issue, you will have blood issue, you will have accidents. So Mars is out of question here. Regardless of the Istfal Kastfal, because Mars is a Gati Karak and Mars is sitting in the seventh house, you should not wear it. Okay, make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Ideally, obviously, if your Lagna Lord is Gati Karak and Lagna Lord is placed in a good position, you should go for it. But any other planet is the Gati Karak, then you have to be really careful that it is not placed in the Marak Stan or sixth house. If it is making a Raj Yoga or something, in that case, yes, you can go for gemstones. But if you feel that just like this case, the Mars is Gati Karak, while also the ninth house Lord, you should not wear the Mars because it is in the Marak Stan. Okay.
No problem. No problem.
Okay, let me see if I have someone else chat. For example, what is Gati Karak Jupiter? Yeah, so in this case, if you check, Jupiter is the eighth house lord and fifth house lord
And
sitting in the
he
ninth
can
house,
definitely not
and
wear. He
Jupiter
can't
is
definitely
Gati
wear.
Karak. Absolutely, he cannot wear it. Okay, if he wears it, first of foremost, eighth house will get activated for him. It will cause a lot of issue. All right. Second
Mhm.
foremost is Jupiter Gatikarak in the Bharini Nakshatra. He will get a pelvic or uterus related or some issue related to his abdomen. So you should not wear it. Even if you say Jupiter from here also, it is extremely bad. So in general,
No problem.
avoid the gemstones of your sixth house, seventh house, second house. All of the rest of the things, as I have explained, you have to think and see. For people who are having health issue, like extreme health issue, here is the technique. Open your D3 in the Somnath Drikkan. That will show you your health basically. So if you check from here, avoid the Somnath Drikkan second lord and the seventh lord. This is like your health chart in general for the Somnath Drikkan when you check it. You just check it as a normal Lagna chart, but once you have finalized the gemstone from here, if you are having health issue, double check with here. So here, if you see what is coming in the second house of Somnath Drekan, what is the
Yes.
lordship?
Jupiter.
So we
And sitting in the
already,
Marak Stan as well.
okay, so we already
Yeah.
cancelled out Jupiter from him based on the Gnatikaraka and the eighth house. But if you are still not sure, go in the Somnath Drekan, check your second and seventh lord because these are the marak. Now here again double confirmation, so you are sure that I cannot wear the Jupiter. Not a good idea. Okay.
No problem.
Same for him. Venus is also a bad idea. Okay, which is the best for him? Best would be the Mars he can wear because Mars is the Yogkarak and sitting in the ninth house, and it is also the Lagna lord of Somnath Drekan.
No problem.
Okay, so any question in any of this?
No question so far.
Rahu and Ketu, they are very unpredictable. I would not advise anyone to wear them. If you have to wear, do it on a testing basis, as again, a lot of issue can happen. Specifically, Ketu gemstone, it can get you very bad dreams. It can give you anger. It can give you red eyes. Rahu gemstone can give you medical issue and whatnot. So be very careful when wearing them. Okay,
No
but
problem.
please don't wear any nonsense regarding your seventh house lord or second house lord or any stupid thing from any astrologers who don't know what they are saying. Okay, but
No
always
problem.
make sure check both from Lagna Lord and check from Moon Kundli, and only then make the judgment. Okay, check from
No
both.
problem.
If you're checking it Moon Kundli, normally from Lagna, the Mars is the Yog Karak sitting. Sorry, here, yeah, Mars is the Yog Karak sitting in the ninth house. Extremely good. Check from the Chandra Kundli. Mars is again the Lagna Lord here from the Chandra Kundli and also the eighth house lord, but because it is with the most of the benefits and the uh Gajakeshri yoga, very good for him. He can wear it. Right. So these are the couple
No
things you
problem.
can consider while wearing the gemstones. Don't randomly wear them. Be very careful.
No
Okay.
problem.
Okay, I'm gonna put a random chart here. So okay, now let me know what do you think about this chart.
Okay. So we can't definitely we cannot definitely we cannot go with Saturn here first of all.
Okay, second is out of
Mercury,
question.
Mercury, Mercury is also out of question because I would say the reason why I would say is, can I see the strength of Mercury, please? Um, yeah, Mercury is definitely out of question as well. If there is a
Yep.
lot of health issues, then only it is mildly suggested to wear Mercury. But the best one, I suppose, we could suggest at this point, even Venus is out of point here because it's sitting within the eighth house. So the best one we could possibly ask over here is
Nothing.
Moon. Is
No.
well if
No moon.
or not even for games as well.
Okay, nothing.
Nothing.
Okay, so
Okay.
there will be certain charts where you can give people nothing. Okay,
Okay.
nothing works. So it is not
No
that
problem.
everyone can wear gemstones. Some people they cannot wear gemstones.
No
Okay,
problem. No
so
problem.
here Mercury, why we rejected it because it is in the sixth house. Okay,
Yeah.
if you check from the Somnath Decan, it is your third and twelfth lord. Not a good position. If you check from Ishpal, Kaspal, extremely high Kaspal. All of the metric, Mercury, even though Lagna lord, not a good idea. Okay, who is the
No
Gatikara?
problem.
Gatikara is Mars. Anyway, the Virgo people can't wear Mars anyway. All right,
Yeah.
and Venus is out of question also because it is in the eighth house.
No
So
problem.
no gemstone recommended for this. So any
No problem.
now you understand how to select the gemstones.
Yes, definitely understand. No problem.
Okay, 1 second.